Welcome to Yellow Brick Road. I'm Jordan, and today I'm going to try to help David Pakman out because he doesn't understand how Elizabeth Warren may have abandoned Medicare for all. But I'm just going to do my best. I'm not an expert. But first, please consider donating to Devon's Journey to Recovery. The GoFundMe link is down there in the description box. Click that link, read the story, and donate to Devon's Journey to Recovery. I think it's like a $5 minimum. Any amount of it, or none of the money goes to us, it goes to charity. So anything you donate goes to them, and probably a piece for GoFundMe. Because we don't have Medicare for all, or a single payer system, we have insurance companies, and they want money. So for people to pay their healthcare bills, a lot of them are starting GoFundMes, and one of our subscribers and his wife are some of those people. So you can help them out by donating to them at Devon's Journey to Recovery GoFundMe link in the description box. All right, so I think it was yesterday, Elizabeth Warren, or people started talking about a leaked video, leaked audio. It seems pretty, professionally made. I don't know how leaked it is, but leaked video, leaked audio of Elizabeth Warren going back on Medicare for all, and I've watched it, and I think it's subtle things that, unless you understand, like maybe the policy, if you don't understand that, then you might not notice how that's the case. But first, I'm going to show you this tweet here from David Pakman, who says, "Can someone tell me where Warren abandons Medicare for all in this video? I keep hearing her say we need to get everyone Medicare for all as quickly as possible." So that means I'm going to do my best here and try to find out what everyone's complaining about in regards to Elizabeth Warren. Let's check out the video. Here we go.
If I can, a little more open textured about this one. The way I see it is we need to know what the goal is. And the goal has got to be that we've got to be in a place where we get coverage for everybody at the lowest possible cost.
Okay. Because a lot of people tell me that when she says costs, which is why she kept saying costs during the debates. People keep telling me, oh yeah, no, she means taxes. Like taxes will go up, but your overall cost will go down. But she doesn't seem to say that during the debates. But I'll shut up now. I'll shut up. Yeah.
And the numbers are just clear on it. That's Medicare for all. The Republicans put together a study to show how expensive Medicare for all was going to be. They really wanted to show us, and it turned out it was cheaper than any alternative that
Right.
anybody.
Bernie Sanders Medicare for all.
Because you cut out all the crazy billing, you cut out all of the fighting with the insurance companies, and you cut out the $23 billion in profits that the insurance companies sucked out of the system just last year alone, and that doesn't even count what they.
Well, she should clarify, right, and say their role in healthcare is significantly dwindled by Bernie Sanders Medicare for all, because I believe that's what the study was about, or at least some version of, I think, what Bernie Sanders has, right? If you go to the Sanders Institute and you see all his studies on single payer, universal healthcare, whatever it's called, I think those studies are placed against the current system, and I guess a Koch brother funded thing found that the Medicare for all is actually cheaper over time. And Bernie says that a lot. That's one of his go-tos as like a counter to people saying my taxes will go up, but your overall cost will go down. Oh, the federal budget. Well, that budget will go down too over like a 10-year period. But let's continue.
They spent on
Don't
CEOs'
freeze.
salaries. Remember, their basic business model: take in as much as you can in premiums and pay out as little as you can in healthcare coverage. Saying no is how they make money. So this is not sustainable over a long period. So we got to figure out, that's where we're headed. Now, how do we get there? And for me, I think of it the way I think of trade. And that is, it matters who's at the table. I want to make sure that the folks who are at the table are folks who don't have health care coverage. I want to make sure they're there. But also folks who do have health care coverage. I want to make sure the unions are there. And I know not all the unions are in the same place on this because they have members that they're in different places on health care.
Okay, maybe if you're a full-on Bernie supporter and you support his Medicare for all, like the way it is, that would be like, I have to listen a little closer now, right? When she brings up unions being at the table, because those guys usually negotiate their health care coverage with their employers. If I'm correct, I think I'm right about that. So that might be a little room for worry if you want a single payer guaranteed health care for everyone type thing. Let's continue. And no no duplicative coverage. Yeah. All right.
This is going to be a process that is fundamentally about respecting the fact that we got to work together on this. For those for whom it is already part of their compensation package, then we got to think about adjustments in the law that make sure, not just that out of the goodness of their hearts, that some employers will make up the difference, but that that's part of the legal structure. For people who don't...
For people that are already covered by their employer, she has to make sure by law that the employer covers that extra amount, I guess, to make it equal to Medicare for all. But then that means there is no Medicare for all. And I think, David, that's what people are complaining about, right? All the basic health care needs are taken care of. That's done by the state, by the government. I think that's what Medicare for all means. If you want to get something on top of that that isn't covered under Medicare for all, then you can do that. I think that's how it goes. But you can't get, let's say Medicare for all covers, heart disease, and you can't have a private insurance company also covering heart disease, right? It's not a competition. It's a wipeout of the private insurer in that area because it is guaranteed universal. There's no competition. There is no, profit motive in regards to basic health care. That's getting the profit motive completely out of there. Like you guys can't work in this area. You can cover, fake tits or something like that. Or I don't know. All my eyes colored black because I'm tough. Or whatever, yeah. So that's the point where I think people are having a problem, Mr. Pakman. I'll just play the rest just because.
Have any coverage, we got to make sure that they're represented about how fast we can get them into the system. So when I hear people say, well, we'll do 55, 50, 45, well, that's great if you have health insurance. We got to find a way to get people into Medicare for all as quickly as we can. So it's not that I have a plan that says we're going to do this part and then we're going to do this part and then we're going to do this part. No, instead, my plan is we're going to get to a table like this. We're going to make sure everybody gets represented. We're going to understand the urgency of the moment to get this solved with people who aren't covered and get ourselves on a path where everybody can get there and everybody can get covered at the lowest possible cost. That's what.
Okay. And I guess another problem would be like something from Jamal Thomas. He brought up I think a really good point, which is Medicare for all is not some idea floating out there. It's an actual bill with actual policy behind it, which is why it's like when she says she's for Medicare for all but says we need to figure out how we're going to do it, that could usually that makes no sense, essentially, if you're talking about a bill. But if you're talking about just this floaty idea of Medicare for all, then you can twist and bend it, what it actually means. You can say we're gonna figure it out one day. When I get elected, we're all gonna sit down and figure this thing out. And Bernie's like, I have the bill already. It's already written out. I know exactly what to do. Here's the policy. Here's the time frame. Here's the 4-year time frame. Here's how we're going to expand Medicare for everyone. Here's how we deal with the private insurance companies. So, David Pakman. Oh shit, what did I do? Let's do that. I almost showed you my porn by accident. My bad. So, yeah, David, this is the problem people are having. Now, some might have some conspiracy thinking like I might, where it's like, David quietly will make sure Warren's the candidate somehow. Or, he'll say he supports Bernie, but really it's Bernie and Warren simultaneously. And then when Bernie gets, pushed aside by the superdelegates, which might not happen this time, shout out to Langston, tell me about Spike Lee endorsing Bernie Sanders. If Bernie gets pushed aside again, you might not see the complaining from David Pakman. And people like me are going to say, I told you so. Now, I base that off of like the way he looks at Tulsi Gabbard. It's like, wow. If you just look at it on paper, he seems to be an on-paper guy who just looks at what's on the surface. He makes no, quiet speculations about, oh, maybe this person's this. Maybe they're a shill. Maybe they're pretending to be this, and they're really going to do this. I think he just looks at on-paper things, and it's like, how do you have Warren over Tulsi Gabbard? If you're going to go by popularity and winning, it's like, okay, but aren't you supposed to be a progressive? Yet the things you criticize her about, I don't see that about Warren. It's very weird. Like someone with no to negative foreign policy. That's what Warren has. Either she hasn't said anything about it, or it's a negative. Yet Tulsi Gabbard has exposed some. She hasn't exposed them, but she kind of exposed it to a mainstream audience about what we do in Syria, what we do in Venezuela. She talks about Julian Assange, which no one's fucking asking about. Not even Edward fucking Snowden's asking about it. And it's like, I can see how you point out Tulsi's negatives. I probably have already. But how do you prop Warren up simultaneously? Aren't they all supposed to be sort of knocked down? I would knock all of them down. I probably have knocked all of them down. So it's weird. It's weird. Weird shit. Alright. Hopefully I did a decent job at explaining why people consider that leaked audio or video of Warren to show that she's not actually for Medicare for all. Hopefully I explained that correctly. Please correct me in the comments section after you subscribe, if you feel like. Also, what you must do is donate to Devon's Journey to Recovery GoFundMe link down there in the description box. Please donate. Please donate. And with all that said, if you don't like my opinions, you can get the hell out of here. Yell, bro.
But now trying to tell us what to do, get the hell out of here. Young Turks.
Say you wanna get in, and then you wanna get out. When you get the money to buy yourself a castle, how will you wear your leisure? You zipper back and front on the fence together. Weekends in weather.